Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And in this case, we're sharing the good news and the power of media. We're honored to be joined by Marie Pizano. She is with MVP3 Media Group, MVP3 Network, and MVP3 Foundation. We'll talk about how all of those worlds collide to create synergy. But let's start out, Marie. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me back on, Jeremy.
Absolutely. So you are powering the good on a number of fronts, especially in this world of media and film production, storytelling, music. There's so much to what you do. And as I alluded to in the intro, you have a lot of different areas and divisions and companies, organizations, even a foundation on the nonprofit side that are all aligning strategically. So how do you start to unpack when you talk about the MVP3 Foundation, the network, the media group? How do you explain all of this good that you do?
Well, it's all about film music community. It's what I've always been about. And we had to do some restructuring the way, it was MVP3 Entertainment Group for the past, over 12 years or so. And, like everything with the pandemic and all that, we got knocked around, a couple of times. And so now with this restructuring, it's not so much it's not the same company at all, but it's the same brand trademark that we're licensing out. We have the MVP3 Foundation that we reinstated. It was opened in 2012. We reinstated it of May of 2023, and we pushed forward to do our youth film and TV youth programs, community blue socials, our culinary job creation programs, Black History series, social justice films, faith and family, and many other things that we do that can help heal our community by also partnering with other nonprofits to help. So with that, with the MVP3 network, now some of our programs, we're able now, we have the network, which is like, it's kind of like Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, mainstream news, pay-per-view, all in one, and what that is going to do is like we have different categories from food TV, music television, science technology, community TV, news, and an avenue of distribution for filmmakers. So like say you made a movie and right now a lot of Netflix and Amazon Prime, they're not taking a lot of indie films, and but we are partnered with a distribution outlet for films, which will have over 2,000 titles. Right now we're not subscription. It's $5.99 if you want to buy the pay-per-view, but we're going to have the capability to live stream concerts, events, sports, you name it. But it goes hand in hand in a way where it doesn't mix, business-wise, because you always got to keep, nonprofits separate. But with the grants and sponsorships and everything, those community programs and the other organizations that we're partnered with, we give them a free channel. So for example, the Christopher Pugh Center, they're helping young men with, kind of like in what we're aligned of doing with financial literacy, culinary, and youth, film and TV. I'm hoping in my part in that we help the young men learn the responsibility of media. The CPC has their own channel under community TV, and we help them put together their own show. And we're hoping to inspire the youth to then, with our partnership with the University of Memphis and other colleges across the country, that they can go to college in the film and, division, and then eventually get a job on one of our, major productions. That's the, key to all of this.
You also have a news element. And so talk about the news element, and especially with Janice Broach.
Yes, so Janice Broach was formerly on Action News 5, investigative reporter. Maybe not many people might not know that she has a psychology major and a degree and all that, and she's interviewed anywhere from presidents to you name it. And I was able to catch her attention on this, and I call her our next Barbara Walters, but Janice Broach has the show called Let's Broach the Subject. So the stories that nobody wants to talk about, or, good stories, but investigative stories. But we are going to have our own news, which will live stream as well. But across the country, we're working with many different people like Janice and those up and coming journalists, news anchors, that we are reporting the news. And let's just face it, right now we're having a crisis with media. And my whole thing is we're integrity media. I want things that are constructive and productive for our community and our society. We have to be part of that change. So like our original series, Faith and Family, or anything, any content that we put on there, it has to be something, we might have rated R and PG-13, films, but there's got to be something that, again, it's not something that's going to harm all of us. It's, and as well as the news, we need good stories. How else are the youth? We learn by example, right? And not only words. So these kids have to see good examples. What are good police? The media is not showing that. We need giving the police their own channel. Let's see what they're actually doing that you don't get to see, right? And then like good stories, human interest, things like that. If people see other people doing good things, you get inspired. It's a program, right? So let's start programming people the right way.
Absolutely. And film plays a vital role in this, just like you're talking about, including the production of your own pieces. And so talk about some of the projects that you're working on the film side, the documentary side.
Well, one of them is the Walter Bailey story. That's part of our Black history and social justice films. Education is a big piece. I mean, our youth, everybody. I mean, I find Black history very fascinating. And I grew up in an all Black African-American community in Chicago. So I know, some, but a lot of stuff I didn't even know, what we weren't taught. Sorry. And I got to go back to school to learn to speak, but, to show, we got all these incredible stories. I mean, we're sitting on a history just alone here, Jeremy, we have all these incredible stories that we should be telling and to educate our youth about it. I mean, let's get them proud of what we have here. So, doing that, Hillbilly Bible, that's a full feature film. That's about a young boy who has dreams of becoming, it in the music industry, but he came from a foster care. And we have South Memphis Alliance, who happens to be here, that takes care of foster kids. So the storyline itself will be relatable to what we have here and actually gives back to that nonprofit from film sales and DVDs and all that as well. So it's all about helping the community with good storylines and showcasing what we got, the music, locations, bringing the production in. I mean, alone, if I do my Faith and Family history series, just like, in other words, like Hallmark does, but if we're using all these different locations here with our original series, that's about 420 people per year, Jeremy, that I could hire and get this industry rolling, the way it needs to be in the entertainment industry.
Well, and that's what I like is the collaborative approach that you're taking, because you are creating the projects, creating the jobs and the economic piece of it there. You're creating the distribution and the network so that people can access, and you're opening up the floodgates for others to have access to the audience so that they can share their stories. And then even on the news side, being able to, on a regular basis, talk about the good, talk about the things that are going on, the investigative side, but like you said, taking a solutions-based approach. I think all of those create this ecosystem where you're creating opportunities for everyone, and in a larger context, obviously, for the community. So talk about collaboration and how the community can help get involved with everything that you're doing.
Well, I mean, sponsorships, advertising, volunteers, if you got a nonprofit and if it's something that we can create, healing, you take a broken heart and make it into art, right? But there are so many, I feel like we're in a candy store here, like Arrow. They're more of the arts and the fashion. Well, I'm working with Manny Cuevas, very famous fashion designer. His father did the movie, all the wardrobe for Rhinestone Cowboy with Sylvester Stallone. We're bringing him here to start a whole wardrobe kind of industry, to help with movies and everything. So it's looking for partnerships like that. You got sticks, I got a match, together we make a fire. Not to keep going back, but I have to remember when we opened up the MVP3 studios, when we took over the old Majestic Theater and the acres, and unfortunately the investment didn't come through, but it was possible. We opened up, we made it happen. But, during that time of, up and down of the pandemic and everything too, we took a hit. But what I've learned from that, so much more, not only how to run a whole building, by myself and everything, but, Lightman Properties, Mr. Lightman, Malco Theater, I'm still got a good relationship with them. What I told even Fred Smith Sr. that I'm going to be the FedEx of the entertainment industry now. Everything we decided to put into that one building, we are now partnering up and little hubs all over the city to do. And we are working on our main, network studio to do that, and our headquarters for our nonprofit. But this now, unfortunately, some of the vendors and everything, but it's the cost of business, and I'm trying to help everybody that believed in me and everything to, come on board, and we'll make it right, and I think if we build this together, just like building a movie, the screenplay is the blueprint of the building you're creating. But if we all come together, like all the lights, the fixtures and everything, basically joining forces, we will build this industry, what I call the entertainment powerhouse, so.
Talk about scope, because this is Mid-South, but obviously when you talk about the network, you're reaching into Mississippi, Nashville, beyond. So talk about the scope of this.
Well, with our partnerships with different colleges across the country, we get to now work with those students that are already kind of familiar, that want to internships or want to do it already. So we're actually training them to actually come on board to, do their own shows and all that. And, like working with the youth, they are our future. They are very equipped with social media, things like that. There's so many avenues to this, different job creations that we can do. But all across the country, we have a cooking show out of Washington State. They joined forces with us. We have shows out in, North Carolina that we're developing. Movies, because again, Faith and Family series, even though we could find pockets here, kind of like, how we have the downtown Collierville, square, like looking for little locations like that across the country, and working with the production companies in different cities. We have a production crew in Nashville. We have the big music side. I have my own record label, publishing company. These artists that want to up and going, get their music out there. Well, we can license their songs for these movies. Right now, we got a big Hollywood strike going on. I'm not union, but what we are doing here is a health plan, a 401k plan, and many different things that we could build basically our own. And there's many people right now in the community and businesses, big businesses, partnering with us. So I think we're going to be able to do it, and it's headquartered right out of here. But just think about this, Jeremy, if we could do it here and show the rest of the world, that's a message to the rest of the world that it can be done. We can inspire instead of all this negative stuff. So all eyes are on Memphis. Well, now I got the platform for Memphis.
Yeah, and I think you're taking a very entrepreneurial, innovative approach to combining all of these opportunities to create something special. So wrap up with where we can go to learn more about, obviously, the foundation, the network. So where all do we go?
Well, you can still go to MVP3Media.com, but you could info at MVP3Media.com and get a hold of me through that way and my team, and go to MVP3Foundation.org. All the information is on there. Connect through us, email us, and go from there.
Yeah. Well, Marie Pizano, you are a force for good for sure. So thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.